As now Türkiye and Hungary gave a green light to Finland's accession to the NATO, I sat down with the Hungarian President Katalin Novak to talk about how this decision was made, along with her country's energy and family policies. My name is Muttalip Erdoğan and this is TRT World's One-on-One. Madam President, thanks for making time for this interview for TRT World. I'd like to start this interview by asking the Hungary stands on the bid of Sweden and Finland's NATO bid. And we know that you have just signed the bill that allows Finland to join the NATO. But how about Sweden, and can you tell us about this whole process?
So first of all, thank you so much for this interview, for this opportunity. So before answering your question, it's just that I would like to express the deepest condolences of the Hungarian people, of the whole Hungarian nation, because when this tragic earthquake or the earthquakes hit Türkiye, then everybody in Hungary realized that how our lives can change from one day to the other. And that is why we are there. We have been there from the first moment on to show our sympathy and our love for the Turkish people. And to answer your question about the NATO accession, well, we are living in war times. We in Hungary, we are in a neighboring country to Ukraine, so we really do understand what this threat means right now. And I think that in these demanding times, we have to stay united, and we also have to show our strength. And NATO is an important alliance, and NATO should be strengthened. And NATO should also remain united and strengthened. That is why it is important that there are countries which understand the open doors policies of the NATO and decided themselves to join the NATO. And we have to raise the questions in our specific countries also, if we can agree with that. And that is also a question if the people in those given countries agree. For example, in Hungary, when we decided to join the NATO, we had a referendum about this issue. It is the decision of a sovereign country either to have or not to have referenda. Neither Finland or Sweden organized referenda about the NATO accession, but they themselves decided. Actually, Sweden, just the Swedish parliament, just last week decided on their NATO accession after a long debate. So I just would like to emphasize how complicated these questions are. And when we talk about war situation, then these questions become even more complicated than usually. So I think that we should have debates about these decisions. We should really consider the pros and cons when we come to taking decisions about enlarging NATO. But in Hungary, these discussions are actually going on. The Hungarian parliament decided already about Finland's NATO accession. I myself signed Finland's NATO accession. I mean the ratification of Finland's NATO accession on Tuesday. So we have the positive decision about Finland in Hungary already. And I also welcome the decision made in Türkiye about Finland's accession. So the ratification has been done also in Türkiye during my official visit, which I also welcome. And there are some debates in Türkiye and also in Hungary about Sweden's accession. The Hungarian parliamentarians have to decide themselves. There are some harsh debates because from Sweden's high representatives, there were some unacceptable statements about Hungary. And some of the Hungarian members of the parliament, they now raise the question if they have to agree with this decision or not. And I have my personal opinion, but that's right now due to the parliamentarians to decide.
What were those criticisms from Sweden towards Hungary, and why? And of course you said that there were harsh criticisms as well, but what are they opposing in Hungary and what are they pressuring Hungary on?
It is not criticism, because I think criticism we need. Criticism can be positive as well. I think we should be rather critic with each other, and we speak eye to eye or tete-a-tete with each other, then we should be even more critical among allies than publicly. But these criticisms were not just criticisms, they were unbased, biased statements about Hungary, saying that we have to, Hungary has to be starved, and that even the Hungarian democracy was put into question. So I think that I also do understand the questions of those Hungarians, or the doubts of those Hungarian parliamentarians who say that, well, their legitimacy was put into question by the same people who now want them to decide in favor of their accession. On the other hand, myself, as the president of Hungary, say that, yes, I understand this. I think we should now put these issues aside and say that now in this very difficult, demanding situation, we have more reasons to accept into the NATO Sweden than to refuse this. So I am in that situation in favor of Sweden's accession to the NATO. I think that NATO can become stronger by receiving Sweden. But I also do understand the concerns of Turkey, and also I do understand the concerns of the Hungarian parliamentarians.
You have been in talks with Azerbaijan about the gas diversification, how feasible it is. And we also heard your statement about the Turkish Stream and how reliable it could be for the future gas trade or providing supplies to Hungary. What's your policy towards having these talks with Azerbaijan? What are you actually aiming to achieve from that?
So first of all, for those who don't really know the Hungarian geography, let's say, I have to emphasize that Hungary is a landlocked country. So we are in a quite difficult situation. We are in high percentage dependent of Russian oil and gas as well. So we are not from an energetic point of view, we are not an independent country, I should say. And no matter how bad it is, that's the situation which we cannot change from one day to the other. What we can do is to diversify our energy resources, and that is what we are doing. We want to decrease our dependence from Russia's energy, but still, for the moment, just as some other European countries, we are very much dependent of Russian oil and gas. And we spoke about the gas. Well, yes, we are diversifying as well. So we have talks with Azerbaijan. I also personally met President Aliyev, and we speak about having some more resources from Azerbaijan. But from that aspect, we also do need Turkey, of course, because again, if you look at the map, we need Turkey in order to bring the gas from Azerbaijan all the way through Turkey, through Romania, Bulgaria, Romania, all the way to Hungary. So we need all these countries as well, but Turkey on the first place. And right now, Turkey is also and has been a very reliable partner, because much of the Russian gas also comes through Turkey, the Turkish pipeline. So we really do rely on you, and you are and have been and still are going to be an important partner for us in that sense. We are trying to use even more our inner resources, which we don't have as much as we would need, but still we are trying to find new gas fields in Hungary as well. Of course, we are counting very much on nuclear. I think that is also a common point with Turkey, because I know that you want to put more emphasis on your nuclear energy sector. So right now you're working on that. We are strengthening also our nuclear capacities, because we do need that as well, and of course renewable. But you have to look at the Hungarian map again and the Hungarian landscape. We don't have high mountains, we don't have very speedy rivers, so we don't have a sea entrance, so that actually determines our marge de manœuvre. That's how we should manage, but we are doing it.
And hopefully it works out and then becomes a really safe.
Yes, because the most important is that we have to manage our lives. It is not that we want to turn off the heating by 2 degrees. It is a question of, let's say, life and death right now in Hungary. That is why we have been always so rational about having a relation to the Russian energy sector, let's say. The question really is if we can manage the households, if we can manage the Hungarian economy. That is for us really a question of life and death, and that is why we do need these energy resources.
Madam President, as a former Minister of Family for 8 years before becoming a President of Hungary, you have changed the country's entire family policy, and you also have initiated an alliance called Family Friendly Presidents Alliance. Can you tell me more about those?
I'm not only a mother of 3 children, but I was responsible in Hungary for our pro-family policies for 8 years. So for quite a long time, I was the one who initiated many pro-family schemes in Hungary, and also tried to bring the attention much more to the pro-family issues. Because for us, family values are just as important as for Turkish people. And I experienced that at the very high level, we don't really speak about the importance of family. We speak about many challenges, but we don't really speak about the challenge of demography and the challenge of families. And that many young people, at the end of the day, give up on having their own children. We have mass immigration. You experience it also in Türkiye. We experience it in Hungary or in Europe all over. But we don't speak about the reasons. Why don't we have our own kids? Why don't young people decide to have children, or why cannot they have children at the end of the day? I'm a working mother. I know how important it is to be able to fulfill our professional dreams just as our family dreams. And that is what we have been working on in Hungary as well, to enable young couples to have as many children as they want to have in the moment when they want to have these children, so that they don't face financial barriers. There I have to add as well that since 2015, we've been organizing in Hungary every second year a Budapest Demographic Summit. We will have it this September as well. I hope you will be there, because it is really the summit of pro-family thinkers, also politicians, church leaders, so really many from all around the world just come together to discuss the matters of demography and families. Can you imagine that in none of our countries in Europe is the fertility rate above 2? So it means that in none of our countries have we enough children in order to at least maintain our population. That is a disaster, and we speak about so many issues, but we don't really touch upon the issue of the demographic winter we are experiencing. What is the reason behind? So first of all, to really awareness raising, to draw people's attention to that issue at the highest level. Second, to share with each other our experiences. Yes, that's true. And third, just as you said, maybe to have some comments on some issues that come up, because we can have this aspect as well brought into the discussion, which we many times avoid or don't take into account. So these are the 3 main reasons why I brought together, or I'm trying to bring together, the pro-family leaders of the world.
Madam President, thank you very much for your time for TRT World One-on-One.
Thank you very much.